Hello, hello. Welcome. I am excited to come here today once again with one of our speakers from Top 50 Voices of Influence. Say hello if you are catching us live. Let us know if you're here with us today. And I want to welcome Shannon Hernandez. And Shannon, I'm thrilled to have you here again in just in this spotlight, in this conversation. You're one of our incredible speakers for Top 50 Voices of Influence Women in Alignment virtual event that is coming up in June. And for those tuning in, this is an event where we have incredible speakers that are living in alignment in the areas of health, wealth, love, and personal power. And I want to highlight as many of those speakers as I can leading up to that event because this is truly a space where your voice gets to expand, where visibility meets alignment and really where your message turns legacy. And so this is an invitation to everyone who's tuning in to join us on this stage. There's still spots available, but more than anything, right now, I just want to take this moment to connect with Shannon. And really, Shannon, I want to welcome you and allow you to really just introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about who you are and the work that you do.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shannon Hernandez. And first of all, I want to thank you, Chris, for allowing us this opportunity to have a platform where we can speak out, where we can give our stories, connect with other people, and give those that need a space to get their voice out there, somewhere to be seen. So I just wanted to thank you for all the work that you're doing and the opportunities that we are going to have moving forward. It's really exciting. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with me, I am a nurse practitioner, independent practice. I live in Carlsbad, New Mexico, and I am currently working on a virtual practice. So what I do in functional medicine takes a while to get to the root cause and try and help people to understand what's going on the inside of their body versus just applying a bunch of different labels and diagnoses and prescribing medications. So a couple of years ago, I decided that I wanted other people to have the opportunity to have the same kind of care, to have the same kind of outcomes, to have their questions asked and answered. So I decided to develop a virtual practice. So that's what I've been working on for the last couple of years. And in doing so, I figured out that speaking was something that I really enjoy. I really love. I love the energy exchange between those in the audience or those that are in the virtual audience as well, getting to field questions and kind of off the cuff, just address people where they're at. I think that's extremely important. And in trying to get people to understand about cellular health and what that actually means. I think traditional medicine has kind of swept it under the rug for too long, and people have just accepted the fact that as we get older, we're supposed to get fat, we're supposed to be in a bad mood, we're not supposed to sleep, we're not supposed to be happy anymore. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous, and I want people to have a different view. I want them to take control of their health back. I want to teach them about what their questions should look like, how they can field that, and that what their future looks like really should be in their hands and not that of someone else. So that's kind of where I'm coming from, what my goal is. I just want to share my knowledge. I want to share with people so that they can be their best health advocate. That's really my goal.
And that's so important because by you tapping into that virtual space, it's like the opportunity to connect with people is endless. And that allows your voice to just have that ripple effect because this is knowledge that we all need. And I agree with you, getting into midlife, growing old doesn't necessarily have to come with everything that we've seen and that we've heard. It's all an internal shift for the most part, right? So thank you for allowing yourself to enter these spaces and continue to share your knowledge and your wisdom. I mean, not only are you also a guest expert inside the Soul Aligned Network, but now bringing your voice onto the stage, the top 50 voices of influence is another opportunity to get continue to amplify that message and take it further. So thank you for allowing yourself to step onto this stage and these other opportunities because people get to receive you and receive your medicine.
Well, I found that people have been very receptive. I think it's a concept that a lot of people desired. They just didn't know where to find the information. They didn't know how to reach out to someone who had a different perspective. And that's what I feel like is my responsibility. That's one of the tasks that I have taken on is to really show people like there is a different option out there. And I get it in traditional medicine, they are limited to the amount of time they're able to spend with patients because at the end of the day, it's a money game and you got to keep the doors open. But, money is not what drives me. My heart is what drives me and seeing people get better and the bulb coming on and they're making their own decisions and knowing that they don't have to just settle is extremely important to me. So, not every patient, sees the same way I do, but I know there's a lot of people out there who desire what I have to offer and that just didn't know where that was before. So, I hope the momentum continues to build and more people reach out so that they can be educated as well because knowledge is power and, people don't know what they don't know. And so that's why I feel like is one of my goals is to put it out there, just start people asking why. I think that's extremely important for them to ask the why question about themselves and find someone that has the right answer for you. Just because you've been with one provider for a long time doesn't mean that that's your only option or that's the best place for you to be if you're not speaking the same language. Like, I don't want people to grow older and look back and say, if I could have done this 20 years ago, what would I look like today? Like that's sad to me. It's unnecessary.
Yeah.
So that's why I've made it my goal to step outside the box and go out there and teach people that there is more to life. They don't have to just settle because that's the way it's always been.
Yeah. So, with all this that you've just shared, what was it about the top 50 voices of influence that when you saw it made you say yes to it?
Well, I think it's important for those who have a story to tell to get it out there. I'm not the only one who wants to know about functional medicine or about cellular health or who's had a history of inability to lose weight or, having to experience brain fog and still get through the day and still address, take care of your family, still go to work, all of those things. So my story it's going to apply. It's going to be something that others identify with and so if I can use what I have done, the mistakes that I made and the things that worked for me to help even just one more person, that to me is a gift and something that will be beneficial, long term. So that's why I think it's important to participate in this, just so that other people who think that they're alone can see
Mhm.
that sounds just like what I'm experiencing. So there is hope for me. So that's why I think it's so important.
Wonderful. Now, when I hear you say that, I mean, it's just such a beautiful thing for me to recognize that it's like there's so many people talking about the same things that we all talk about, right? But it's the way you say it, the way that you say something or share an experience, that's going to be the one that's going to connect with, your person. And that's
Mhm.
why I always tell people it doesn't matter, how many people are talking about the same thing, the same topic. The people that are ready in the moment are going to hear you regardless of where you're at, because that's when they're ready. And that's why I feel like it's so important that we don't stop talking about the topics and the things that we're so passionate about that we're here to share because people are always looking. They might be in a different stage, they may see you and your content over and over, but it may be now that
Mhm.
they're ready to hear that specific message that you have to share.
Well, I think that people in traditional medicine, they feel like numbers. They feel like animals being herded through, and they are seen, but they are not heard. And that's one thing that I strive for every day is to make sure my patients know that I hear what they are saying. And then whenever you can, apply your own past experience, they know that you're not just reading from a book or reading from a
Yeah.
protocol or just using something that has, applies across the board to women in menopause. Like that's unrealistic. Like, people do not experience the same things, even if they have all of the same lab results. And so I feel like treating everyone as an individual is number one priority. And that's, I can make the best protocol, I can make the best plan of care, but if that's not what they want their future to look like what good did it do me? So being individualized is so important. And when you do that, people know like you are listening to them. You're trying to help them. You're not trying to help their disease or their diagnosis or their age. It's them as a person. And so I think that sets me apart for making sure that people know that I care about them holistically. Like I don't just look at their heart or their stomach or their joints. Like they are an entire being to me. So addressing them emotionally, physically, physiologically is something that I do with everyone as well, because you can't fix one without addressing the other. And I think that's oftentimes missed as well.
Yes. Now, Shannon, when you leaned into and said yes to the top 50 voices of influence, what was it about that experience or just that the whole process that felt aligned for you beyond, I guess, just being another speaking opportunity for you?
Well, I think that definitely conversing with you, like I identify with genuine people, and I have interacted and been on different interviews with other people before. And this to me didn't feel like a business or a project. This was genuine concern for other people and elevation of their current state of well being, whatever that is, whether it's financial, whether it's their health, whatever state they're in. Like you have reached out to different people with different backgrounds, with different messages to get out there. And to me, I think that is so important. And so that's why I wanted to connect here, because I feel it's different. I feel like a family type thing, like a belonging, like everyone genuinely wants to promote everyone. It's not all about one individual and elevating them to make them better than someone else. Because at the end of the day, I feel like those that I have interacted with, we all have a core belief. Like we're all like-minded. We have the same um, goals moving forward, and that's the betterment of humanity in general, and not just ourselves, and elevating our career.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that because that is one of the main reasons and main goals that I bring this event together, along with, the Soul Line Network, which is the community, the Facebook community. But I mean, top voices of influence kind of stemmed from that as well, where it's like, where can we now uh, take people's messages and spread them further, right? That's where it's like this event started, where it's like, okay, let me gather as many women as I can to now elevate their voices and a bigger stage. From there came the idea of like, how can this just continue to expand, right? Where now our keynote speakers have the opportunity to be streaming live on, the Million Dollar Network, where now that's viewable and available or will be to, over 300 million people on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, which is really taking your message and making it available to as many people as possible. So it's like one piece just leads to the other. And to me, it's important to me to share that message. And I remember when I started my business several years back, I said, I'm on a mission to elevate the consciousness of people, to impact over 1 million women by, 2029. And I just set that year because that's when I turned 50 and I'm like, what a beautiful goal. But it's like it's not something that I want or desire to do alone. This is a ripple effect that happens, right? And
Mhm.
so how can I bring women together share that message, amplify it, and continue to amplify it. And I know before we jumped on, I was like, hey, Shannon, after this, I want to turn this conversation into an article, you know,
Mhm.
and then share it on Substack, another platform, because it's about sharing our message because someone out there is needing, and I'm going to say need, but
Mhm.
because I truly believe it, someone out there needs your work,
Mhm.
needs your message. And it's a path to allowing them to hear it.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I know that people feel alone and they feel like they're the only one experiencing these things, and that they're afraid to speak up, or they're embarrassed to say they're experiencing these things, or to ask for help, or they don't know how. And so being able to identify or hear someone else say, I feel like that, and this is what I'm doing, that gives them some relief, some peace of knowing it's not just them. There's not something just wrong with them as an individual. There's things people are experiencing right now just because of the food they're eating. You
Mhm.
know, that it's very widespread, that people don't realize that something that you're supposed to do to keep you alive, which is eat, is actually making you sick. And so when you start helping people fix that
Mhm.
perspective, like that big snowball that is huge starts to unroll, and then they start addressing other things in their lives, and it just they will make a difference in someone else's life. So those people we're touching now are going to be the creators of someone else's wellness as well. So that's how I feel about it.
Yes, 100%. Now, what would you tell a woman who is feeling called to, step onto the stage of top 50 voices of influence or just really feeling called to share their voice, but hasn't said yes to the stage yet?
Mhm. I feel like sometimes when we say the word stage, people feel like they need to be stage ready, like they already need to have their talk polished. They need to have had, coaching lessons, and they already need to have been paid by other people to do it. And I want people to know that that is absolutely not true. We are all here educating ourselves, educating others, and just sharing our genuine stories. It doesn't have to have all the punctuation in the correct sections, it doesn't have to be all spilled out, because what we do is just have conversations that flow because they're natural. This is not a canned thing. Like you and I didn't do this before today. We are talking from our hearts, talking from past experience, talking from what we want the future to look like. So if that's something that those of you watching want to do, this is just how it goes. It doesn't have to be something that you're ready to present to 10,000 people, and it has to be ready to go, because I feel like that's not how we do things. That's not how people, are receptive in this kind of manner of information exchange. They know it's a safe environment. It's peaceful. Nobody's judging you. Everybody just wants to be better. And so by collaborating and doing things together and contributing in this manner, like we're gonna get there faster.
And you said something so important for me to make sure that others hear this, and is that you don't have to be prepared and ready to say yes to yourself. And I say this over and over, this stage, virtual event, whatever you want to call it, this is where you have to pick yourself. You have to say yes to yourself first. Once you do that, then the rest will come.
Yeah.
And if this happens to be the first time that you do something like this, we'll walk you through it. But it is with a group of women who are here to support you, because I just want to say something so important also, that people are tired of just polished,
Mhm.
you know, from start to end.
Mhm.
People want realness. People want to feel connected. People want to just know that the person on the other side of the screen is just like you and I.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's extremely important. It's like people don't want like canned speeches. They don't want to know that they are hearing something that they've already done 10 times in the exact same order with the exact same tone, the exact same emphasis on these words before, because then you just feel like another number, or you feel like someone that's lost in the audience versus I want to know what your concern is. Let's talk about that. How are we going to address that? How are we going to make you better? Because then that turns it into being about them and it makes it important and it makes them know that they're in the spotlight and that what they're feeling is genuine and true and matters. And so I feel like this is a safe environment for that. And what you said about your making yourself important, like if you don't step up and say, my voice is important and what I have to say is important and it's going to benefit someone, then who else is going to say that for you? So I feel like that's really important. And that's what I had to do. I honestly felt when I first started speaking that I needed to practice. I needed to know what to say. I had to be prepared for everything. And then I was like, you know what? That can't be real. Like when my patients come in, I want to be genuine with them. I'm in the here and now. I want my responses to be something where they know I heard what they had to say. So how can I get up in front of a group and have something canned? That's not really who I am as a person. And so when I got that off the board, took that off my plate and just went forward, things have just unrolled. Things have just fell into place and it feels so much more natural. I'm so much more comfortable and just able to share because
Yeah.
it's not something I'm trying to remember, because it's real. It happened. It's happening. I learned it or, falls into those categories. So and I think that's important for people to understand. Don't wait till you're ready because you'll never get there.
You'll never be
Just jump.
ready. And
Mhm,
and to your point, like you can prepare. And of course, you want to prepare to a certain extent,
mhm,
but be you.
mhm. Yeah,
Have
just
your
not
have your notes, have your outline, have whatever is going to make you feel
comfortable.
comfortable showing up, but then
Mhm.
allow yourself to show up just how you are.
Mhm. Yeah. And
That
I
is
feel like
what
that's what sets us apart. Like the people that I have met and through our interactions, they're just that genuine. They're not about flashy. They're not about look at me. They're not about how are you going to make me better. It's about a group, an atmosphere, a family, promotion of the betterment of society as a whole. And how are we going to do that together? And it just makes things work better.
it does. It does. And again, this is exactly why I've created the top 50 voices of influence, women in alignment, because I know so many women are ready and they just need to hear something that's going to encourage them to take that next step. This is why I'm choosing to spotlight all you incredible speakers and as many as those that are available, because I want other women to see what they're stepping into.
Mhm.
Because even by you stepping into the top 50 voices of influence as a speaker, you get to connect with the other women,
Mhm.
right? There will be, networking events and mixers leading up to the event that not only do you get to connect with the other speakers, this is also going to be opened up to all the attendees when we open up registrations. And this is for people to fill you in advance to get a chance to see who are the women that I'm going to get to tune into. And it's so important. So if you have been watching, if you have been listening, and if there's something inside of you that says, okay, I think I'm ready, this is your invitation. Don't wait to feel ready. Pick yourself, say yes to you first, and everything will begin to unfold. I will tell you that anytime you do things for the first time or step onto a bigger audience, there's going to be a feeling of nervousness and all that. That's normal, but that's just you stepping into that version of you that you desire. And so spots are open. We would love to have you inside this experience. Reach out to me if you're connected to Shannon. Shannon will be more than happy to connect you with me. But this is a time to let your voice be heard. And more importantly, it's meant for you to be remembered. Any final words, Shannon?
I just want to thank everyone that has been following us and join. And like she said, just reach out because the time is right. The time is now. The world needs positive influence, positive voices, and we need to move forward together.
We do. Moving forward together is so important. This is why, for me, collaboration and community is the new currency. This is how we move forward collectively. You don't have to do anything alone, but simultaneously being individually you. This is about you, your self expression, but not doing things alone. So, thank you, Shannon. And thank you for everyone who is tuning in. I appreciate you. I love you. And I can't wait to have more women step in to this beautiful experience. Thank you.
Thank you.